Good day, and welcome to another Saturday morning Samoflange.
My name is Benjamin.
And I'm Matt.
It is nice to be here today.
Oi.
Oi.
Aussie. Do they do that?
Oi.
Do they do that?
Yeah. They have it. It's printed on hats and everything.
Shut up.
Aussie. Oi. Football's a big deal down there.
That is good stuff.
Yeah, they have a good time with that, and they had a good time listening to my ramblings about American football, and man, we had such a good time doing the trivia about America and stuff like. Oh, I'm telling you, Aussies love trivia, and so it's a fun thing. It's a Christmas crackers. You know when they have the Christmas crackers and they pull them apart.
Yes, we have those at Christmas. Our
you have
family
the ones
does.
That you can either have jokes in them, or you can have trivia
toys
in them, or toys in them, or whatever.
Whistle or whatever.
And so, like, I was there for Christmas, and the family that I was going to tell you about the beaches, but first I need to tell you about the Christmas crackers.
Because this is about the beaches. We promised we'd talk about the beaches now.
But I mean, that's pretty much where we were.
Okay, but we'll do a small detour, then we'll come back to the beaches.
So we were on Christmas Day. And the family, like, it's 75 degrees, 85 degrees again, because it's Christmas Day. That was a mind trip in itself. Because you'd go anywhere in the city, and you'd be dripping hot. Like, it's hot.
It's hot.
Yeah, because you go to a beach day, because there's lots of... I was staying right in the middle of Sydney, so right in the heart of the city. And I would take a full beach day, and I would take you just get on the bus, I was talking about, with your phone. All you have to do is take your phone and go boop, you beep in on the phone.
Yeah.
And then when you get on the bus, and then as you get off the bus, you beep out to let them know how far you rode, and then it charges you appropriately for how far you rode. Now, if you take the bus regularly, of course, you can get the cards and the passes, and it's cheaper and everything else. But it's literally like $1 to get on and $1 to get off, or something like that, to anywhere in the city. And it's terrific. So you take your bus down to the beach. You're wearing, what do you call them? Swimmers, I think they called them. For your swim trunks, right?
Okay.
We would call them trunks, but swimmers. And then you've got your sunnies, which are your sunglasses. And then you had your towel. And everybody around you, like, no one blinks an eye because, everybody, it's a beach culture. And you've spent a lot of time at the beach with your family, more than I have probably, because you've got a family yearly excursion.
That's a yearly,
every
2 weeks. Yeah, for 2 weeks.
And so, when you're in a beach town, you have a beach vibe, and it just, people are more accepting, and they're like, everybody's wearing dirty clothes, and or you're covered in sand or flip-flops.
Formal is a button-up.
Yeah, button-up is very formal,
not unbuttoned.
You're wearing thongs into the restaurant. I mean, flip-flops, and they call them thongs down there.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, flip-flops are not flip-flops. They're called thongs. And anyway, we're not going to talk about that right now because we're going to talk about the other things.
But we're talking about beach. Speaking of thongs. Christmas. Christmas.
So I was talking about Christmas, and then we have the presents and the trivia, and then they have this tradition. So we're set the table outside, 75 degrees. One of the weirdest things. Do you know what a prawn is? Prawn?
Yes, it's like a shrimp.
Oh, but a giant, ugly shrimp with huge fish, huge eyes that stare at you from death and captivity at the bottom of this bowl. They eat prawns Christmas Day as a regular tradition. So
really,
like, how
do they eat them?
What is your annual Christmas tradition food?
Like, it's turkey
or whatever.
Turkey stuffing.
My family's like chicken and dressing.
It's like another Thanksgiving.
It's like another Thanksgiving.
There's different sides.
Maybe more ham, perhaps.
There's different sides.
Yeah, different sides. Yeah. So their prawns is a big thing. Do I know how they ate them? No, I didn't pay any attention because all I did was walk into the room and smell. Why does it smell like shrimp so strong in here? And it was horrible. And I'm not a huge shrimp fan. I won't not eat it. But these things were gigantic and like looked just freshly dead, like right out of the swamp kind of thing. And they were staring right at me with those little black eyes. And I'm like, I'm not eating that.
You said no thanks.
Thank God they had ham and some corn and some vegetables that I could eat on instead. But no offense to the family, but I was like, you know what? I'm not a huge fan. And
that's okay.
It was great. But we sit outside with the prawns and everything else. They have prawn and garlic pizza in the restaurants. And I was like, just bring me any pizza, your favorite pizza. They bring out this prawn and garlic pizza. Prawns are sticking straight up. Their tails are sticking up the ass end out of the pizza, into the garlic, stuck into the cheese. They love it. And I just said, you know what? I just picked up the entire pizza and I set it on the empty table next to me. I was like, I'd like to order another pizza. And the person sitting across from me was like, you know what, that's a great idea because I'm not a huge fan. I actually have a shellfish allergy. And I was like, you know, we need another pizza.
We need another pizza.
You got pepperoni? This time
I wouldn't mind garlic.
I mean, I wouldn't mind either, but garlic and prawn pizza is not for me. And they have it, and it's pretty regular down there. So
oh, wow.
That's one of the few things that I told you downstairs when we were getting some soda. Thank you very much for the drink, by the way.
Yes.
As you were refilling my glass, you put a dash of like lemon juice in yours. And I was like, well, I've never done that before, so let's give it a go.
We might get crazy with the vitamin
and let
C.
me tell you, like that's what happened in Australia 100% of the time. The prawns was where I drew the line. Yeah. But honestly, I ate so many foods in the month of December that I couldn't even pronounce.
You're answering one of my questions here about the food because if anyone should know,
we were going to talk about the beach, but
I know. We'll talk about food here because I was going to talk about that the next podcast, but that's okay. We still have plenty of time to talk about
the beaches,
beach women. Anyway, Australian beach women. Anyway, so let me make sure all the kids and the wife are in bed. Yes, beach women. Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay, so but I did want to talk about food because you are a big foodie. In New Orleans, you were always talking about every single restaurant you went to, how good the food is there. Mm. You are a food connoisseur. You try new stuff.
I try new things. My menu of preferred meals is still very short, still very small.
Yeah.
But I try. I have tried more foods than my father, who has lived 3 times as long as I have. You know, I've eaten more different foods than he has.
We have the same mentality because when am I going to get another chance?
Correct.
Do you remember, I don't remember her name, from Korea, the girl that for Tony's birthday, Tony asked for her to make a real Korean meal. She did. One of the things she made was kimchi. Like the rotten sour cabbage thing.
Oh, yeah.
No one would eat it. I ate it. It was horrible. But you have to try it.
Right.
You just have to know that you hate it. You know what? It smells awful. It probably tastes awful. It did taste awful.
Let's go
but
for
I ate it anyway because when am I going to have
kimchi now? You never forget.
No matter how bad I want to. But the thing is, though, I will try it. I will try anything once.
And my typical story time when it comes to New Orleans food is if you go to New Orleans, even if you've got foods on your list that you know you hate, that you've had anywhere else in the world.
You've told me this.
You should try it in New Orleans because there's a very good chance it will taste better.
I can't remember what it was, but you were telling me about one place you went, Matt, I hate these.
I've never
liked this. I've never. Oh yeah, and you said it had mushrooms in it. I said I don't know.
I didn't even care. It was terrific.
And you said it was one of the best things you ever had.
Things I'd ever had. Exactly. I hate mushrooms. I don't like mayonnaise.
Someone took you. Was it the redhead girl?
That must have been. I can't remember.
But she said we need to go here. You said I don't like mushrooms. Like, no, try it.
Yeah.
And you did. And you're like,
amazing.
Wow, this is amazing.
So I kept on that mentality for the entire time.
I knew you would.
Because, like, honestly, I've been home for just a couple of weeks now, and I've been in such a whirlwind since that I haven't honestly sat down and looked through all my pictures from Australia yet. Mm. And so what I did, knowing that
Did you take pictures on the beach?
Knowing that, yes, I did. And knowing that I was on a full whirlwind tour of the country, that I was just going to take pictures of things on the menu and, like, I'll figure it out later because I'm not going to try to pronounce it. This girl I'm speaking to barely speaks any English, you know, like, and so it was just a sort of we'll figure this out. And I was able to. So the continuation of the story that I was telling when I went to the beach that one time, and I got off at the bus and I just walked around for an hour and took pictures and then got back on the bus, got on the right bus this time, and then got semi-close to where I was staying, and I just hopped off the bus, I pushed the button, boop, I beat my phone, I get off, because it's a cashless society, like I was saying, so you don't have to have cash for anything.
Nice.
I walked past, just got my headphones in, listening to some books or something like that. Honestly, I just don't really care. I'm just drowning out the traffic noise because I don't like loud noise. And but I walked past this Vietnamese? No, not Vietnamese. It was like, oh shucks, it's gonna bug me now. But it was like an authentic Southeast Asian country food, right? And all clearly Southeast Asian people behind the counter and cooking the meal and everything else, all glass, so you could see everything that was happening. So I walk in, I'm like, you know what? I've never had this food before in my life, and it's all by myself. It's empty. So I walked past it, and I wasn't too terribly hungry, but I knew it was going to be a while before I could eat again.
Yeah.
So I walked past, looked inside, I realized it was totally empty. So I walked past it by a full 20 steps, and then I actually turned around and came back, and I was like, you know what? When am I going to get the chance to do this again? Yeah. So I had the restaurant to myself. I took my time. I chatted with the girl about the menu. I explained my situation, and I was just here by myself and hanging out, and I've never had this before. What would you recommend to somebody who is an American who don't want to I don't want to melt my face off with anything crazy hot? But, she's pointing to stuff and explaining to me kind of what it's like. And I just took pictures of the menu, and I pointed my finger at the menu, and I just took a picture with my finger next to it because I wouldn't be able to pronounce it anyway. She brings it out. It was terrific. Still don't have any idea what it was. Some rice, naturally, and then some different types of meat and broth, and it was very spicy. Had a lot of curry in it.
Oh, I love spice.
Oh, it was terrific. My mouth is watering literally talking about it.
I've noticed they've like curry. At least on Australian Survivor, a curry dinner is like a reward.
It's a big deal. Yeah, lots of curry down there too. But I mean, that was the attitude I had everywhere I went because everything was different. I went to this one bar that had like 25, 30 beers on tap right in the front, right? Not a single one of them did I recognize because they were all local or Aussie beers or something like that. Didn't have any clue. So I was like, whatever. And they don't have German beers, which are the only kinds I don't like, which is dark beer, which is the kind that the Germans drink.
Yeah.
Aussies hate that stuff. And so I'm like, well, I'm good. So whatever y'all have, let's just try that one. Now I had that one yesterday, so let's go this one this time. And then that was the place where I got the prawn and garlic pizza, so they've got some unique options. But everything else, honestly, the prawn and garlic pizza was the only miss, I think. Everything else, it was either unpronounceable but delicious or a completely different variant of foods that I had before. And so to me, it was all new and wonderful and interesting and lovely. To Aussies, they are very low on their food. But honestly, Aussies are low about everything to themselves. They have they call tall poppy syndrome down there. So it's very English sort of reservation about what they're proud of. You cannot boast about it at all, about anything. Well, your food, your talent, your ability. If you start bragging about yourself even a slightest bit, other Aussies will come down and cut you down like you're a tall poppy, right? Because you got to be even with the herd. So it's a very English, let's play it cool.
Interesting.
Keep it on the DL of what I did. So there was this, the very last week I was there, I met this surfer because I was in a surf town near the Gold Coast up in near Brisbane. And I walked out. I can't even tell you the beaches, man. Did I tell you about how beautiful they are? I walked out onto this one beach, and it had a cliffside version. And I looked down, and it was like Jaws could have eaten for the rest of his life. There was so many surfers down there. Just
that's what I'm talking about.
Idiots.
Well, there's a lot of surfing in Australia.
Heaps of surfing. And they don't say bunches or tons or whatever like we would say. They say heaps. Everything's heaps. So I have adopted heaps. That's my new favorite word. So heaps of surfers down there, and I went into this restaurant just across the street, like literally right over the street into this area where, like when you're in Gulf Shores, they've got all these, like a strip mall that's right on the beachfront. Yeah. It was like this, but that was the whole town, right?
Wow.
And it was so beautiful and lovely. And I go in there, and I'm talking to this guy. I say, did you go surfing this morning? And he's like, oh, because he's athletic-looking dude. And he's like, oh, yeah, I was out there. I had a good time. And, had caught some good, I forget what the terms were. It was like caught some good waves or whatever they are. Mm-hmm. And I was like, so you're a pretty good surfer? He's like, I'm all right. And then I laughed, and I looked at the friend I was with because we were just talking about tall poppy syndrome. And I said, so wait a minute. Let me ask you this, because I know about this tall poppy syndrome. And he kind of laughed, and he knew what I was talking about. And he said, yeah, right. And I said, if you were the best surfer in Australia, and I asked you, how did you do this morning? He'd say, I was all right.
Yeah.
Wouldn't matter. He would still say, I was all right. Could have been the best surfer in the world. He's all right.
Wow.
They can't get higher than all right.
Wow.
And it's very much a cultural, there's no braggadocio. There's no, I'm the best at this or the best at that. None of that. None whatsoever.
Nice.
And it keeps it very communal and easygoing and literally like the no worries thing that we hear that Mick Dundee popularized in Crocodile Dundee. It's very much that
echoes
kind of
that
vibe.
mentality.
It very much echoes that sort of thing.
So when we get to the beaches, wait. I want to talk about one other thing. Hold on.
Please. There's so much good stuff.
Sports is different there. Now that
sports
you
very
made me
different.
think about surfing, so sports is different. That their Aussie football is weird, but it's wildly popular.
There's three types of rugby apparently. There's rugby league, and rugby league I think is the professional football.
Okay,
and then there's rugby like just rugby. Is end of sentence. That's what you play on Christmas with your family. Is just rugby. When you play out in the summertime.
It's like us throwing the football around after Christmas.
It's just called just rugby. And then rugby league and rugby union or something like that. It's not rugby union. It's something else. But it's still the same game. Literally, only the second word is different. But apparently, the rules are entirely different. So imagine if you had Canadian football and the NFL in the same country. And the rules in Canadian football are so very different, but it was like, well, it's the same thing. It's just different teams, and they all exist in the same country. That's kind of how it goes. But like I said in last week's podcast, the population of Australia is not very high. Like I said, there are more people in Texas than there are in the whole country. There's only like 5 major cities. None of them have more than like 7 million people tops. Wow. I think Melbourne has like 7 million, and it might be the most populous. Or Sydney is close. It's right there. The rest of them are like 5 million here, 1 million here, 1 million there, 2 million there, and that's it. And they're all just cloistered in this one area. And then you've got people that live in the bush, and then like the country itself is bigger in some ways than the United States, like land area wise, it's much bigger. But the whole center of the country is going to eat you, and you will die from heat stroke, and because it's like 100 million degrees in the middle of the desert, and everything wants to kill you. It's a very rough.
It is.
That's the rough and tumble stuff that we all hear about.
Yeah,
and all the really poisonous stuff is there, and all the things that Will McDundee told us about in the 80s or the 90s, and that's the stuff that gets perpetuated through the internet. And my theory is that Aussies keep this theory that no, don't come here, everything wants to kill you, because that keeps the Americans and the English out of the country so they can have it to themselves. And I'm not kidding. I really believe that that's true, that they sell this to international tourists, that everything will eat you. But otherwise, they don't think about it. You know how many spiders I saw in the entirety of the time I was there? One tiny spider that was like just not even anything. It was just, and because I was on the phone on Christmas Day calling my family, and I walked away for a minute, and then I got closer to a tree where I could see a spider web, and it was
you had to go looking for it.
I didn't see a single snake, not one.
Wow.
I even went to the zoo, the Coronga Zoo, when I was there in Sydney, which was right off the beautiful Sydney Bay Harbor. Got to hop on a ferry and just take the ferries over. It's ferries again, you just hop on just like the bus with the boop, with your phone. Get on the ferry. This thing's got 7 motors underneath it. Just you get across Sydney Harbor in 5 minutes for $1, and it's unreal. I get to the zoo, or I'm on the ferry, and to my left there's a couple of Russian girls, and to my right is a couple of Italian people, an Italian family.
Wow.
And my head's just exploding listening to both conversations, because I understand a little bit of Russian and I understand a little bit of Italian. And so I was just sitting quietly, just listening to both. But that's very common. And I get to the zoo, and I get to the snake house, and I just turned right around immediately.
Yeah.
And I saw the spider. Here's the spider's house, and I was like, I took a video of me walking past the tunnel, and then I pan over to here's the sign that says, "Oh, spiders are in here." And then I kept the video going with me turning around.
Yeah, that's funny.
You know what? I don't need to see that. I'm good. So I left, but I saw all kinds of great. I got to come within a foot of a koala. I could have pet one if I would have really turned on my Slytherin nature, and had actually reached out my arm. I got to see all the Tasmanian devil, all the great animals and stuff like that. So they're
awesome.
So even at the zoo, I didn't see any snakes or spiders or anything like that.
It wasn't anything.
And then the week after I left, I got a picture from one of my friends and said, made a new friend on our sink this morning, sent me a spider the size of my hand, and it was in the sink, and I have really big hands. Like it was I was like, why did you send me this? I thought we were friends.
Yeah.
Now I have to type these buttons next to this picture of this fucking giant spider, and I don't want anything to do with this. Creeps me out.
So we're about halfway through. We do need to talk about the beaches, because we did. We're going to talk about the beaches now, because you said you went to a lot of different beaches.
I did.
And wait. Now
that
I think about that,
though.
Well, now that I think about that, before I get to the beach, hold on. I do have another one. That reminded me of another question, though. Because you said you've been to a lot of different places, beaches and stuff. But I want to know about what were the towns? Was there a favorite town or city that you're like, this is wonderful? Like, I didn't think I was,
No, I'm glad you put it that way, because I got there to Sydney. Yeah. And I stayed with my friend, and then the intention was to go all over the country to different towns, like you said.
Yeah.
And I told you this ahead of time. I got to Sydney, and I got on Airbnb, and I found this place that had a last-minute cancellation. And I looked at the price, and it said, normally this place is like $400 a night. And it was on rent, or fire sale. You can book it today, because they just canceled like yesterday.
And they're just looking for
and so they just need somebody to get anything, right? So I got this place that's normally $400-some a night for $60 a night. And remember, this is Australian money, so it's like $30 a night for Aussie or
That's
US
American
money.
Yeah, wow.
I get there. It's the 9th floor of one of the buildings on the north shore of the Sydney Harbor.
No.
I open the door. I walk up. I pull open the sliding balcony. And there to my left is the Sydney Opera House. There's the Sydney Harbor Bridge. There's Circular Quay. Here's the wharf. Here's where the sun goes down on the right.
And
I
you
sent
sent
you
me
the
a
video
picture.
of it.
Yeah, you sent me the video.
That was the video with
the
grin on my face where I was just like, what have I just done?
Gorgeous.
So I get there and I immediately get back on Airbnb and I was like, how long can I extend my stay?
Yeah.
Because I said, I don't care how expensive it is. Like, even if I have to pay the full rate or whatever.
this is my
I never had to
place.
pay the full rate, but they had already booked somebody for the $400 or whatever, you know. And that was coming the week. But anyway, the point is I extended the stay for several days. And so I ended up spending a huge chunk of my travel budget just staying there.
But in a way,
because I'm like, why in the world would I leave? It was perfect. It was within walking distance to one of the main harbor pickup spot or the ferry pickup spots, so I could get anywhere I wanted to go in the city from the ferry, literally just down the hill from the building that I was staying at. And if I walked north from the building I was staying at, it was just full of shops and restaurants and everything, like bookstore, anything you could imagine, and all of it was new because just like the beers I was talking about and the food I was talking about. Everything is similar. They're speaking the same language, but it sure sounds good. They're eating the same. They call it a hamburger, but it's a brekkie burger, which is basically bacon, eggs, and cheese and everything else.
That's what I'm talking about.
They don't say the word breakfast. They call it brekkie.
I love it.
And so, like, brekkie burger. I mean, come on, best of both worlds. This is terrific. And so I'm going up the street and I'm enjoying everything. Like, every single thing is just beautiful and new and different and but familiar at the same time. So it's not so foreign that you feel so out of place. It's just like, imagine going somewhere like, I've never tried this flavor of ice cream before. You're in the ice cream aisle and then there's suddenly a whole magical row that you stepped through the ice cream, shop, and then you're suddenly in an MTV music video and then there's just a million rows of ice cream that you've never seen or heard of, but they're all there and they all taste great. That's what great. Australia was like for me.
That's great.
Except in the summertime, and great.
Now you also showed me some pictures of grocery stores. We got to chat about that.
Yeah, that's right. With the weird copyrights and stuff.
With the weird copyrights and stuff. That was wild. But I want to put on our swimmies. I want to put on our sunnies.
Yeah, your
swimmers.
Your sunnies.
I want to put on our thongs. And I want to go back to the beach. Wait. I do want to ask a question for this. Now that I'm thinking about this.
All right.
There's a lot of nicknames, you said. Are there any other nicknames?
Oh my gosh!
Or abbreviations of stuff?
Oh, there's so many good ones.
I want to hear that.
I've just found a photo.
We're gonna get to the beach, but I want to hear that. Now that I'm saying all those nicknames, it got me thinking.
I just found a photo. So we got sunnies and thongs and everything else, and then I found one for coffee that was hilarious. I went to this coffee shop, just sat down on my own. Had a chocolate muffin or something is what I would have called it, but then it wasn't at all just a regular chocolate muffin. It was all kinds of different things. But,
right.
Oh, here it is right here. Australian coffee types for tourists. A long black is a black coffee. A flat white is a white coffee. A cappuccino is a frothy coffee. A latte is a milky coffee. A mocha is a chalky coffee.
Shut up.
A cold drip is a wanky coffee. A baby chino is a peace and quiet coffee. And an iced coffee is a cold coffee. A tea is not coffee. And hot chocolate is also not coffee.
Wow.
But I mean, that's kind of a joke menu anyway. But the point is that everyone in Australia seems to have a sense of humor about everything.
Yeah.
They all know that they've got semi-weird sounding names for stuff and that everybody recognizes the fact that they
it's a little bit of Jeff Foxworthy making fun of the southern dialect and everything.
But even like the business names, like you'd be right in the middle of downtown Sydney and the name of the business, like the shingle hanging out over the wall, over the sidewalk, is called Business Needs a Name. .company, like
that's great.
They would filled out the business form, needs a name, and that's it.
Wow.
Or they would call it like everything. Half the businesses in the city have a joke name, as if they're just like, yeah, you know what, this is my life's work and my family business, but we're just gonna call it donut holes or something stupid.
That seems to echo their attitude. They're carefree, laughable,
very, very much. Yes.
Yeah.
And here's some of the pictures of the cheese ball and the weird...
Oh, yeah. So this is the stuff you were showing me.
and the Japanese...
So you had... Yeah, you're like, what is this stuff? Tim Tam Deluxe?
And Tim Tams are kind of like their national cookies, sweets. They were pretty sweet.
Tim Tams are everywhere.
Yeah, they're pretty sweet to me. A little too sweet.
Wow. Churros.
Yeah.
But in a Japanese bag. Yes, this is what you showed me. All the different little...
Did you see the cereals yet?
You sent me that picture
because I loved it. You had like Frosted Flakes, but
what is Power Pod?
That was so. Remember,
it's a vending machine. Is what I'm looking at, folks.
Everything is on your phone, right? So you don't really need your wallet.
Got it.
But at every train station, every bus station, and everywhere you go, if you happen to forget your charge your phone or whatever, the vending machine right there will give you a phone charger or a battery or whatever you need to keep your phone charged. So if you can find some way to just get into this vending machine, if you have cash, then that's really what you're using it for, is just get your phone charged again.
McVitie's Digestives.
Yes.
It's a cookie.
They're terrific. I loved them. I can't even tell you.
Okay, here's what we got. I remember this. you got Special K.
Yeah.
But then you got Crunchy Nut Clusters.
Crunchy Nut Clusters.
And then just regular Crunchy Nut.
Yeah.
Then Wee Bix Bites, Bix with an X. Then Cocoa Pops.
Cocoa Pops.
With a monkey. You got Corn Flakes, Rice Bubbles, which is Rice Krispies.
Rice Krispies, like it's literally the three elves from Rice Krispies, and it's the same box, same color. It's exactly the same font, but it's called Rice Bubbles instead of Rice Krispies. And then the Frosted
Sultana
Flakes.
brand.
Is that the one with Frosted Tony the Tiger next to it?
No, Frosties.
Frosties. Yeah. It's literally Frosted Flakes with everything the exact same, but it's just called Frosties. So it makes me wonder, who got Frosted Flakes first in Australia, and what is it?
Yeah.
And what is Rice Krispies?
Nestle Milo, whatever that means.
I don't know what Milo is, yeah. And then lemon Coke. They had lemon-flavored Coke there, which I'm guessing is going to be in the States soon, if not already, because, Australia is sort of a test bed for a lot of U.S. products.
Shrimp-flavored crackers.
Shrimp-flavored crackers.
Which I'm guessing are they look like a little crunchy veggie sticks.
I didn't go anywhere near them shrimp-flavored crackers.
Shrimp-flavored?
Shrimp-flavored chips with Japanese text on the back and writing.
Honey-flavored twist snack.
Which actually sound pretty good.
Potato sticks.
Yeah. Red potato sticks.
Red potato sticks. Sweet potato snack.
Yeah, sweet potato snack.
There it is, lemon Coke.
Yeah. So lots of weird foods, lots of unique things. There's no such thing as like a grocery store or a supermarket. I think they use different terms for it. They don't call it like a department store, because I was looking for a department store because they have Kmart there. There's no Walmart anywhere, but they have Kmart everywhere. And get this, Kmart is like 24 hours a day. But they don't call. So I was looking for a department store. And they're like, department store? What do you mean? I said, you don't use that word? So they call a department store or a grocery store, I can't remember, but they call it a supermarket. Is not a grocery store. A supermarket is a Kmart. That's what it is. So it's a supermarket, not a grocery store.
Okay.
And so we use it kind of interchangeably. But their supermarket, grocery store, and department store are three very different things. And so there aren't just huge shelves and shelves of groceries like we're used to. Like you go to Brookshire's and you're just like more food than you could ever eat in your life. They don't have that. They have lots of small, tiny, locally owned grocery stores, which are just maybe 2, 3, 4 aisles of all your staples, everything you might need. And then you can go to find a bigger one, if you really want to, but most people don't ever shop at like a gigantic grocery store like we think of. So
interesting.
Yeah, it's fascinating stuff, man. And then the food, whether you buy it, and so much of it's just fresh fruits, fresh vegetables. The bananas, I love bananas. It's probably my favorite fruit. Tastes better there than anywhere I've ever had in my life. Best bananas of my life. Wow. I can't even explain it.
Wow.
So yeah.
So all right. So speaking of bananas, my banana is dying to know what the beaches were like. Well, but
okay.
But before I talk about this, okay, I know this is the main that the beaches are going to still be our main topic.
That's the main topic.
You talked about picking up a few things. You say some cash coin. What are the souvenirs? Did you end up bringing any over souvenirs?
Well, I got my hat. So I got my hat from I can't pronounce the name of the place that makes it, but the famous hats are called Akubras, and they're all handmade and hand stitched, and they're only from this one factory.
Oh, definitely, that's what you
like
get.
For 100 years. That's
definitely
all you can
that's
get.
what you get.
So I got one that was very similar to that. In other words, they're all only handmade, and they have the very the bill up kind of thing on the sides, and I look great in it if I do say so myself. Which is tall poppy syndrome. I would immediately be laughed at.
So yeah,
and run out of town.
You look all right.
I'm all right.
You're all right.
I brought back my Kubra. I got a couple of shirts, like nothing really big. I got a few things of cash. I got heaps of pictures and memories, and
that's what's important.
Yeah, I got tons of phone numbers and made new friends, and I'm gonna go back. Great. Let's be clear.
Oh,
let's be clear.
I will return. He says
I will return. There's no way that I'm not going back, and there's no way that it's not going to be. It's going to be 10 years again, like the 10 years in the planning that this first one was. No chance am I going to wait that long. Like if I weren't filming a movie right now, and had to finish the next scenes of the movie, because we already finished a good chunk of the movie already.
And we'll get to talk about that.
We'll talk about that next Saturday. But the point is that that the audience was like, "Oh wait, we haven't." Okay, but I have to film the rest of the movie in March. If that wasn't happening, honestly, I would already be planning to go back in March.
Whoa!
Yeah. I would find a way, because I think I know of ways now to get down there.
Wow, you want to get back into the Squid Game? That's amazing.
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that, except without the death stuff.
That'd be nice. And so, I mean, I can't even tell you how much. Okay, so look, first of all, I can't let the podcast end without telling you about these beaches.
Yeah. Oh, man. And folks, we'll see you next time.
On Saturday.
Morning.
Samoflange.
So about them beaches. Yeah.